Okay, so the new project you're going to be working on is you're going to be combining raster and vector images um, in Photoshop. Oh, well, you'll start in Photoshop, you'll combine them in Illustrator, and this is going to be for a poster for the Glenn Ford exhibition that's coming up next month. So we're going to start in Photoshop. I think that you guys need to learn this one tool specifically. You should be learning more Photoshop, but this one tool in particular I think is going to be useful to you. So open Photoshop, um, and I'm going to open this image. Now I'm going to give you a selection of images of Glenn Ford. This is the mansion that we have the exhibition at. Um, you can use those. If you have other ideas, you can use that too. But I'm just going to give you an idea of how you're going to extract um, parts of images to bring into Illustrator. So this is a skill that you're going to use for many things moving forward. The first thing in Photoshop is I open the image, and first thing I want to do, there's a background layer, and it's locked. So I'm going to copy the background layer by dragging it down here. There's a copy. It's not locked. So I'm going to turn the bottom one off. And now I'm going to use the quick selection tool, and that is up here, probably the fourth tool down, and it's in the same place as the magic wand tool, but that's not what we're going to use. We're using quick selection, and what that does is it quickly selects an area because it senses the differences in the pixels around it. So I'm starting up here, and I'm just quickly dragging across and selecting this house. So now what I want to do is take the house and kind of lift it out of its environment and bring it into Illustrator. So as you can see, this is going along here. I'm not going to get too picky about it because as you're going to see in a minute, there's ways to fix anything that you might not have done correctly. So I'm just going to take it right there, and that's where I'm going to stop. Now, I'm going to create a layer mask by going down. Now that I've got this selected, you have to have a selection first before you create a layer mask. You go down, and this is the area where the layer mask is. If you hover over it, it'll say add layer mask. Now, oops, I added two by mistake. Okay. Now everything except what was selected is now gone. And like I told you before, if I made some mistakes in here, I can go back and fix them. And this is why this particular tool is really useful, because most times when you select something, it's not going to come out right the first time. Now, the way that you refine this is by using the paintbrush tool. So here is the paintbrush or brush tool in Photoshop. And you want to make sure you have a white or black, you have white and black selected. Oh, I'm sorry, white and black down here. So the white, when you have the white in the foreground, you will be bringing pixels back into the image. So like if I messed this up and I wanted to bring this back, I could do that. In this particular case, I want to take that out. So I'm going to flip it to black. And the black allows you to fix and paint out anything you actually didn't want. And this is how you get a really good selection. So now I'm going to zoom in. And the zooming in and moving around is the same in Photoshop as it is in Illustrator. So as you know, you just go in. Now the smaller the brush, the more detailed you can be, as you know. And it really is worth it to take the time and do this carefully. For the sake of this video tutorial though, I'm not going to be that careful. I'll be as careful as I can be within the time. But you get the idea. Actually, I'm just gonna, just because I want to go fast, I'm gonna cut that out completely. And then I'm gonna go down here and go down around. Make the brush a little bigger. So I'm just going to take all of this out because I want a little bit of an, not awkward, but I want a little bit of a, I guess I'd say, a rough selection, because the kind of technique we're going to use is not too fussy or perfect. It's actually, we're going to combine, I'll show you in a minute. So I would do that better if I had the time, but I'm not doing that. And then I'm going to move over here, and I think it's probably, I'm going to leave this side just like that because I want to move on and tell you what to do next. So now that we've done all that, you've got nothing in the background, and you want to save this as a PNG. Actually, if you go to export, this version has, the version I'm using, which is Creative Cloud, it has this quick PNG, but I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way because that's what you have right now. And we're going to export it as a PNG, and it's just going to go into the folder that I have it in. I'm just going to name it something simpler, like GF House PNG. Great. Okay. Now we can get out of Photoshop for the time being. Actually, you want to, so I saved it as a PNG. I also want to save the Photoshop file because that saves the layered file and allows you to go back in if you need it. So I'm going to say Glenn Ford mask. Okay, save it as a PSD, which is a Photoshop document. And there's the PNG. And you can see that it's all cut out. I'm going to go to Illustrator, and I'm going to open a new document. So for the poster, it's going to be 13 by 19, as you can see here, 13 by 19. Make sure it's inches. Call it Glenn Ford, and it's kind of spelled weird, but poster, your name, and you have the document. So I'm pretty sure you can just drag this into here. Oops. So you take the PNG, yes, you just drag it right in, and there it is. Now that that's done, I'm going to use vectors and combine it with this raster image. So the vector I'm going to use, I'm just going to use shapes and colors and patterns. And in the next video, I will show you what that looks like. For now, though, I'm going to save this as, well, I already named it, but I'm going to put it in my folder and save it as an Illustrator document. And then when I come back, we'll talk about color, shape, and pattern.